Alright. Hey guys, this is Drew from Music That You Might Not have known about, and we're interviewing someone very special today. And would you like to tell us who you are?
Sure. My name is Sally, and I am the editor of iHeartLocalMusic.com. It's a website that covers the music scene in Lawrence and sometimes Kansas City.
Alright, awesome. So, I'm just going to ask you a few quick questions. So, first off, are there any big, exciting shows that you're getting really excited about coming up soon?
Oh my God, yes. So, and you have to forgive me because I tend to get overly excited about all shows, but this one's going to be a really big deal.
Okay.
There is the 11-11-11 show.
Oh, yeah.
There's a production, or promotion company called 11 Productions, and they kind of throw all of these awesome shows in lots of cities, but, you know, it started in Lawrence, and this is their anniversary show, and on November 11th, 11/11, 2011, and they have just kind of swooped up almost every local band in the town for this show, but they're also kind of getting some big bands together, and Murder by Death is headlining. But what's really great about the show is kind of like you get a really big band or two, but then you have like a lot of the local bands that have been playing regularly for a long time, and then you even have some brand new bands like Sluts, which is a very new band that I'm very excited about. I've only seen one show. I went to their first show, and they're on the bill, and I'm kind of excited because this lineup kind of is recognizing all of the really good talent in the area and up and coming. Everybody's good, but it's kind of awesome that they also snatched up new bands who you can tell are just really going to be awesome. So.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one too. Yeah, the Sluts, they're really good. I saw your a video of them performing for opening for Ann Horse at the Jackpot. That was really good.
Yeah, that was I kind of have this I don't like missing openers. Some people are kind of like, oh, I don't go for the opener, but you really shouldn't ever miss the opener, and that's a very good example of why.
Yeah. There was, back in March, I went to see Cold War Kids at the Granada, and, pretty much everyone showed up after the opening act, but that was a mistake, because the opening act, they were it was a band called Lull from Chicago.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
We saw them at the,
Right Room? Is it that?
Yeah, at the Right Room in the spring at the big middle of the Map Fest, and that's definitely one of my favorite new bands this year. And they're not really new, but they're new to me, and so that's just phenomenal. A lot of bands kind of try to do the two-drummer thing, and it's all right, but this band really knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, I was, I've been to a lot of loud stuff, but that's by far, that concert made my friend rethink playing his music really loud. Alright, so, oh yeah, one more show. Are you going to go, the one I'm really excited about, I'm so incredibly sad I can't go, but it's the November TOC show.
Yeah, it's like the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, because, I'm married, so I have two families, and so I have to go to, two Thanksgivings, so it's kind of tricky. So I can't make that one, but, I've seen the OCs at the Granada before, and again, 11 Productions kind of put them on earlier this year with local openers, and so the Dactyls opened that show, and so it's always I think that's one of the greatest things kind of about 11 Productions, is they kind of pair bigger groups with local bands, and not everybody's always up for that, and so they kind of have their eye on the local scene, giving it the respect it deserves, and so I feel like I'm talking up 11 Productions a whole bunch, but they do a lot for shows here in Lawrence, and they're not the only ones. There's other groups too that put on shows. But the OCs is probably one of the top 5 shows I've seen this year. And so I would do anything to go see them at the Granada again. But the thing is, it seems like they'll be back because
I know they've already been here twice. You get the feeling they're going to come back.
Yeah, but that's definitely a show not to be missed. It's kind of like when. There's always going to be bands that kind of come through multiple times a year, and so it's pretty great.
Yeah, and I also saw you went to the I don't know how you pronounce his name, the Trent Moeller show.
Trent Muller. I'm not really sure because he's Danish, and so
Yeah.
for Trent Muller. Somebody in the audience just yelled out Timo, and that works too. But, yeah, that was kind of one of those instances where it's just like, here's someone who's kind of world famous, but not in this neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And, not very many people were there, but it kind of filled out as the night went on, so I'm kind of wondering if people just kind of, like, came last second, whatever, but that was a show I'll never forget. I'm really into, like, my favorite genre of music is electronic music.
Yeah.
And that one is, like, the electronic music perfected at its best, really, like, and it's just nice to see. It's one guy, but when he tours with a band.
Mm-hmm.
So he brought this huge band with him, and, they all had very important roles to play in the band. Sometimes somebody would be, like, the star singer, and then the next song they'd be, like, way in the back shaking a maraca, And so the whole band was very smiling, kind of very happy Danish people.
Yeah.
So, it was really fun to watch them because it was nice to see a band that had been on tour for a while, where it was in the middle of a tour, and they weren't sick of each other, because tour is hard, and it wears people out, but this band was just kind of like, all right, there's less than 100 people here, we're going to give it all,
Yeah.
So that was fun. It's, of course, at Liberty Hall, which is just one of the best venues ever.
Oh, yeah,
so
I know.
It's just so welcoming and inviting.
I'm just wondering how they're gonna do the Skrillex show.
Yeah.
That'll be...
Well, Liberty Hall has kind of done some, big party shows like that before. They hosted stuff like that before, and Skrillex is already sold out.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's been sold out for,
a lot of people don't know, because some people are out of luck. Like, I wanted to get a ticket to that, but
yeah,
I'm out of luck, so I might have to buy a second from someone. But there's also an after party on the other end of downtown at the Granada, and the word on the street is that he's going to be there, too. So it's like it's going to be Skrillex later on that night as well. So, if you don't get into Liberty Hall, you might want to head into the Granada later.
Yeah.
I think it's at the Granada. I have to double check whether it's Granada or Bottleneck, I forget. But, so, you'll still get a chance to see Skrillex if you didn't get a ticket.
Yeah. Well, I'm just sad because, honestly, I think seeing Skrillex live will be definitely worth sitting through this, but, this show starts at, 9 o'clock, and there's, 3 opening acts. It's, pretty... So I don't know how late that after party will start.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point of an after party.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Liberty Hall is pretty, it's one of those venues that are, like the Granada. If it says it starts at 9, it starts at 9. Other venues in town might say, Canada really starts at midnight.
Yeah.
I've seen some local musicians who go on to other cities and kind of have world tours, and then they come back here, and they'll say, oh, what the heck, it says 10 o'clock, but then the party doesn't start until almost midnight, and you've only got 2 hours to really get this party on. So it's nice that something like this is getting dragged out.
Yeah.
And so that'll be a madhouse. I really don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of, sometimes you can guess what's going to happen at a show, but that one, all bets are off. It's going to be crazy.
All right, so... That's about it for concerts. So what has been some interesting music that you've been listening to? What's been kind of a staple for the local scene on your iPod lately?
Well, there's lately I've been really into the ACDs. It's not anything new. The record's been out more than a year,
Yeah.
But I'm digging the ACDs. A lot of bands really, they put stuff out on cassette tape instead of a CD or something.
Yeah.
A lot of them also kind of put it up on Bandcamp, and then you can, I'm always listening to it, whenever I'm on the computer that way.
Yeah.
So I really like the ACBs. I love listening to Cowboy Indian Bear all the time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And they're working on new stuff, so I'm really excited. And the thing is, all of these bands, when they work on new stuff, they might not put an album for a while, but they're always playing it at the live shows. And it's very worth going to the live show just even for that. So you can get, you feel like you're already familiar with the record before it comes out. And so, let's see, Hospital Ships put out that great album this summer, but it was the same kind of thing where, they've been playing it for so long, and it finally came out, and you've already loved it, you're more than happy to buy it. And so, those are, 3 bands I'm really into. The Hits, played so many shows that everybody kind of is familiar with their music now, but they don't have a CD out or anything, but they have cassette tape from Love Garden.
I think
so that's really good. They don't really even have a website. I mean, they're kind
Yeah.
of working on stuff. But,
Did they have a 7-inch out? Because either that or I have there's another band called The Hips.
Okay, they might have something out, but the last thing I ever picked up was the cassette tape, because that had been out for a while, and then they kind of changed their names a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, like, they were called, like, The Hips in the surrounding area, or
Yeah.
something like that. And so, yeah, those are some bands I'm really digging. And then there are bands that have been around for a long time that I really like, and so, like, Ghosty and 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there are bands that kind of, like, did some stuff, and then they worked on other projects, and they might be coming back and doing more stuff. Like, I was really into Elevator Action, but, you know, half of them kind of took a break so they could support hospital ships, and so there might be some rumblings that they're coming back. I'm not sure, you know. It's whatever they're into, and they're still, like, whatever projects they're involved in, they'll always be really good.
Yeah.
So,
I've been,
go ahead.
Okay, I've been kind of, the new Hospital Ships album, like, according to a lot of people, I mean, it's getting a lot of buzz, like, even outside of the area, but, I'm just kind of debating which band is more popular right now. Either it's Hospital Ships or Mouth Breathers. I mean, they're getting kind of the most buzz, I think, personally.
It's not so much, like, who's more popular.
Yeah.
It's kind of, like, where they show up. So, like, both of them play a ton of local shows.
Oh, yeah.
And both of them also hit several tours. And so, like, they'll do more than one tour a year, of course. And so, like, and they're also both very vocal about it. So, like, they're both really good. Both of those bands are very good at, like, keeping up with Twitter, or, like, they'll have a Tumblr or a website or Facebook and be like, here, we're doing this. And they're also, it's kind of, like, going along with the Lord scene and the way it is, throwing, like, last-minute shows. Like, oh, we just got on for this show at the Replay, or this house show, or whatever. And so, it's not necessarily who's more popular.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities in the fact that they're both very good at just being out there right now, and being very accessible, and that's pretty kick-ass.
Yeah. Like, there's, as you know, I emailed you. I got to go to the Mouth Breathers Love Garden show. That was, I think, the first email I ever sent to you. But,
With Drive On It?
Yeah, with Drive On It. And, those are, like, oh, man, that was just an amazing concert. I mean, they have, like, I want to get to more local shows. I mean, I've listened to all their, like, I've listened to the songs, but I haven't been to as many local shows as I'd like to have been going to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, as, you know, I was kind of in the situation where I missed one of their shows, or I came to the show late, and I missed, like, Mouth Breathers, and I turned to my friend and I said, oh, you know, damn, I'm so mad I missed them. I really wanted to see them. They were opening for, like, a bigger, like, world-famous act. And so then my friend turned to me and said, well, you know, Valerie, they'll play again. And so it's kind of like, oh, yeah, it does. Like, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a Mouth Breather show.
Yeah.
Mouth Breathers is one of those, it's like the Sluts. Like, the first time I saw them, I thought, oh, who's this? You know, like, it was kind of one of their shows, too, and all of a sudden it blew me away. I was just mad more people were there to see it. So, but, you know, now they work really hard, and more people come out to their shows, and so that's how you do it.
Yeah. Like, there's, let me think. It's like, yeah, like you said, they're always going to come back. Like, for instance, the Spook Lights. I really liked them. But, I mean, there was a time, I think it was Hospital Ships and the Spook Lights. They had, like, concerts alternating for, like, a solid week between the Replay and the Jackpot. Like, every single night, it was either Hospital Ships at one of them or the Spook Lights at the other.
And sometimes they'll go on tour and then they'll come back.
Yeah.
And be like, wow, like, already? Kick ass. Like,
Yeah.
I was getting ready to, like, miss this band for a couple of weeks or a month or however long they were on tour for, and then, like, and they're already back, and so it's time to party again.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Spook Lights are the perfect example for that. I mean, because they had, like, a huge time in Lawrence, and they just went straight to, like, they went on a tour, like, 2 weeks later. They went to, like, Nebraska, Missouri, and surrounding areas, Iowa, I think, and then they came right back to the Bottleneck and played a show.
Yeah, it's always nice because I'll sometimes catch bands and they come back after touring, and they're never, like, even if they are tired, they don't show it, you know? And Spook Lights are one of those really awesome, energetic bands, which, by the way, you should definitely go check them out on the Halloween show, because that's kind of like, that's you're going to see a local band on Halloween. You see the Spooklights.
Oh, yeah.
So, and also, like, it's hard to say that because Lawrence is, like, notorious for, kick-ass Halloween shows. So everywhere you go, like, you're going to get the best of the local scene and then some. So it's really fun. But that's the thing about being in Kansas with touring. All the bands that I've talked to, and, like, it's so easy and affordable to just kind of go up to Nebraska and this way to Missouri and that way to Oklahoma and Texas. And it's a lot easier for these bands to get down South by Southwest in Austin every year because we're so centrally located. It's like a day trip. They're driving and they're there. And so it's really nice that they kind of put the effort to staying into Lawrence so that they can kind of keep just branching out that way. And so, with Cowboy Day Bear, they told me that they kind of, it's easier for them to kind of determine what areas like them more, and they do well in, and like one city likes them more than the other, then they'll spend more time touring there. And so, which I think is pretty awesome, rewarding, like the fans who really like you. So.
I'm sorry, what did you say? What was the last part?
I think it's rewarding the fans who really like them, and coming in and touring the places more where they're better liked.
Yeah.
Kind of see who responds better, and they'll just keep kind of hit that city more than others when they go on tour.
Yeah, I was sad because when, like, TOC said they were going on tour again, because this is their second album that they've released this year, coming in November.
Yeah.
And they're just coming right back, and I'm sad I have to miss it, but, I'm not worried, because I think they'll come back.
Yeah, they'll be back. I mean, there was a time when, like, everyone was here, like, twice a year, and if they weren't here, they were in Kansas City, and so that's all easy trip to go see, so.
Yeah. So, I just have a few more things. Is there anything interesting going to be happening with iHeart Local Music upcoming?
We're gonna kind of expand our coverage more, and so we started off really strong, and then we kind of limited how much we were writing per week, and now I want to write more, and we're having more people come forward who want to be contributors, and it's great. We always welcome contributors, people who want to write or take photos or anything, and so. I'm kind of expanding our local coverage, and it won't be just kind of like indie bands. We'll cover it's always been my goal to cover all genres of music. I don't want to kind of be pegged as just like the indie rock band or like the electronic bands or whatever. And so, and I like folk music a lot, and I like classical music, and we might dabble in jazz.
Yeah.
So, whatever. It's everything is accessible in Lawrence, and so. It's pretty fun. So we're trying to just kind of expand more of our coverage and get into Kansas City a lot more because, they're so close together, and sometimes a band that's based out of Lawrence has half their members living in Casey anyway. Yeah. So Casey's been kind of getting a really good identity lately, as far as what kind of scene they have.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Kansas City as a whole, they have kind of the bigger venues. That's naturally, that's where the big artists go, but they also have, the tinier clubs, for instance, the Beaumont.
Yeah,
it's kind of
the Riot Room is pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
All that, and, every place that was, middle of the Math Fest was just amazing, and they utilized all that nice, block of venues to the best of their abilities, and it worked so well, and I think that's probably concert of the year. There is just nothing more enjoyable than middle of the Math Fest, because I love festivals, whether they're big or small like that, where it's just focused on your city, but it brings in national bands, or bands that started out in the Casey area and got bigger, and that's kind of what 11 is going to be. So I love stuff like that so much.
Yeah. So. Yeah, there's a lot of awesome stuff. So I'm excited to hear that you're expanding just a little bit. There's,
yeah, and we like going to Omaha every now and then too. So,
yeah.
Omaha gets good shows, and their venues are pretty fun. So.
Yeah, like I said, Spooklights, first city on their tour, Omaha.
Yep, Omaha's pretty awesome. I really do like Omaha. I think the downtown is pretty neat.
Yeah, I haven't.
And then they've got the label out there and everything. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to explore their music scene a little bit better, because I've been up there before, but I haven't really explored out of what I've already been to.
I think you'll find that a lot of Lawrence bands that did really well kind of have roots in Omaha.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah. All right. So, are there any upcoming albums that you're excited about? We've talked about upcoming concerts. Any upcoming albums or upcoming new releases that's getting you
Well,
psyched?
it's tricky because when I talk to musicians about like when they have albums coming out, etc., they're like, well, we're recording it bit by bit, and sometimes it's like a money issue. They just kind of like do a little bit at a time, etc. Like I said, Raining Bear is recording new music, and I've already like laid it on the scene pretty heavy. Like we're pretty familiar with some of their new songs, and I love it. Like it's great. It's just Cowboy and Bear, they're finest again, and
Yeah.
like the Sluts are gonna record some stuff, but again, like there's not really a deadline. There's not a specific date that's coming out with that. Sam Billen puts out that Christmas stuff every year, and that's always really fun. So
Yeah.
those are some kind of things I'm looking forward to right now.
That's really cool. Let me think. I'm personally I'm waiting for these are much younger musicians, but I'm waiting for have you heard of Baby Boomers?
Yeah, Baby Boomers. Okay, yeah, they're pretty cool, but I never get to see them. It's kind of very hard and obscure.
Yeah, I actually got to meet I think it's the drummer. He's a really nice guy. I got to meet him. It was actually really funny. I was wearing my Cold War Kids t-shirt. He complimented me on that, and he had a little Baby Boomers thing on his leather jacket. And I said, I like your Baby Boomers emblem. And he says, what?
Yeah, I see them out like flyering and for their shows and stuff. Sometimes
Yeah.
working just as hard as anybody else. So I hope to see more from them.
Yeah, they were supposed to have a new album out earlier I think it was probably in September, and so I'm waiting for that to come out. There's like I said, these are more younger musicians, but the Faded Age, I think I mentioned them to you. I'm waiting for something happened with their drummer. I think he decided to quit, so they have one song off their new album and nothing else yet. So I'm waiting for that to come out. And yeah, those are the big ones. I'm wondering, do you know if Mouth Breathers has like any full albums at all?
I know they're gonna have an album release. Well, that's kind of weird because they played a show recently and they said, well, it's their album release show, but they don't have an album, like the recording stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then that's a band that's like they keep so busy and they always have new stuff. So they may like put out an album and still have lots of songs left over. And like they put up a whole thing on Bandcamp. I know that, and it's very like Lawrence centered. A lot of like inside jokes in those songs, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, if they don't have something, they will. Like they're just pretty quick with it. They have a lot of like really hard and fast short songs, and so it's just kind of like it's like can't sweat it. Just wait around. It'll happen. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also waiting for I don't know when they're coming back, but the band CVLTS, I think I've been adoring their albums for a while. I love their new one, Theta Distractions. I thought that's really awesome, but I'm waiting for them to come back. They've actually been touring Europe lately.
Yeah, they've gotten like a lot of attention. And they're doing pretty good with it, which is great. But sometimes it's easier for a band to tour Europe because there's not as much distance to travel between the venues. It's like the U.S. is huge, like going from Kansas to California is going to cost you a ton of money, but they can hit up 3 countries for less.
Yeah.
So sometimes bands will go on tour, especially if they don't have a lot of equipment to carry. They'll go over there. So it's easy for them to pull off.
Yeah. So all right, this is the last thing I'm gonna ask you. So is there any can you tell us any interesting concert stories that have happened? Probably just any at all.
Well, there was a couple of years ago, there was Scion Garage Fest, and it was kind of the same thing. It was like a lot of Lawrence venues. And at first I was looking forward to the show because there's a lot of really good, like nationally famous garage bands, and I was ticked off that there was only one local band on the bill, and it was kind of by accident. Like they didn't even know they were local, and that was Rustama Jelani's, which is, back from Mouth Breathers, isn't that?
Yeah.
So I was kind of ticked off that, like, oh, why aren't they getting more local bands involved? I mean, so many great things happened at that that kind of small festival, and I spent the whole evening at Liberty Hall. I didn't even visit very many of the other venues, and I popped my head in and out, but the Liberty Hall was mainly where I was staked out, and West Coast played, and it was kind of at the beginning of their big, like, 2-year tour that they just wrapped up, working really hard, and he a little bit of songs on Twitter, and all the time of the on stage, and I had to, like, play along to the song, and it was, like, one of the biggest songs. It was a When I'm With You song, and I videotaped it, and it was just the most magical thing. Because here's this little girl, she was wearing a bottleneck t-shirt, you know, and she kept time with the music, like with her tambourine. You know, she wasn't messing up. She actually could keep a pretty good beat. And she just kind of embodied everything that was very innocent and wonderful about little girls. And here's this band that, like, little girls really like. Like, I see a lot of, like, young teenagers forming bands and covering West Coast songs a lot. And it was just the greatest thing ever. And it was very heartwarming. And then the lead singer tweeted my video. She found my video and tweeted it, and I didn't even know about it until later. I just clicked on YouTube one day. I was like, whoa, 6,000 hits, what the heck? So, yeah, so that was, like, one of my favorite concert stories ever. I just melted. That's probably my favorite. But lots of different things happen, you know, human connections happen. People, like, you can connect with your audience in a very special and amazing way. Like, I don't care what kind of music you play. Like, it's just wonderful. And that's the main reason I go to shows. And I think that happens at almost every single show I go to.
Yeah.
You can't stand there and stand in one place the whole time. You gotta move around and mingle, or else, you know, the whole experience is kind of lost on you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
It was very
Thanks
enjoyable.
for calling.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing the interview. All right.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Alright guys, so that was our interview with iHeart Local, with the lady from iHeart Local Music. So that was, and I will hopefully be giving you links to where you can check out the bands that we were talking about and the venues that we were talking about, so you can go to shows like that. So yeah, thank you. Drew, music you may not have known about, interview with iHeart Local Music. So yeah, there you go. And I will hopefully see you guys sometime soon. Alright.